I actually don't remember what the last drawing I made before 6 months ago was. Hey everyone, Artfinity here, and I am back with a drawing update from the last 6 months. But before I go into that, there's unsettled business from 6 months ago I need to fix. Magic Tablet Skittle! Magic Tablet Skittles. Alright, there we go. I'm glad that that's taken care of. Anyway, in this drawing update, I'm going to show you the drawings from 6 months ago-ish, right before I went on a mission again. I'll include a few other ones that I think haven't been shown yet. But, anyway, with that we can actually get into what the heck we're doing. So, this is a drawing of Neffy and Skotos, except she's just like, hey man, you want to be punched like that Identity Crisis belt? And he's just like, nah. And here is just a list of characters from, I know the name of my own mangas, I promise. That one. And yeah, so I just decided to do like a little collage thing like that, but it honestly feels like it has a Power Rangers vibe to it, which is actually really cool. I found out there's a remake of that, and it's weird. And here is Crow with an arm that's exploded, and a Crow, and Crow with the sword, and then Crow, and Crow. Yep. Here's a drawing that I did for Sue. This is honestly my perception of Sue. Giant bear. Jones. Pinwheel hat. Here is a couple of expressions that I made, and I intentionally wanted these to be weird expressions that you probably don't see all the time. So it's just like, and here's Talia from Brody's Ghost just going like, I am Ghost! And I think my actual favorite one in here is actually this one. Tell me your secrets. I want to know them, so tell them to me. So there's that drawing, and then that one is no face. Here is a bunch of spoilers, so I'll just go ahead and here is just like a character list of all the characters in. I really need to get the mangas I make straight now. Hill Surrounded. So here's a couple of the characters in that. So there's some concepts designs for that. Here's a drawing of Neffy that never went anywhere. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to draw the beanie on her head without making it look like she has a head that's the size of a bowling ball. But that's a problem for another day. Here's more concept drawings. I decided to actually do like an eye style change, so it goes from that to that. And I do actually keep that for some characters, just not for her. And a funny thing about that is you just see like a monster hand, which is from Skotos the monster, just puts the head on her head like blop. So that's always fun. And there's actually more shadows in the story. It's not just Skotos. So here's a design for a few. I tried some different ones. And on this other side is just more concepts. The cool thing about this one is that it's pretty much like the Duracell shadow. It likes to lightning bolt people, which in theory isn't very kind. Here's a Neffy turnaround. This wasn't even for her face, it's just more for the actual beanie because I'm trying to figure out how to make her head not look like a bowling ball. And here is just a Between Veils logo thing that I tried to design because it's like there's the veil and there's Between Veils and it looks like cool, huh? I can draw. And here's another dude, and here's another dude. I see that my gift of explaining things has obviously increased tenfold on a mission. Except it really hasn't. Nobody understands what the heck I'm talking about. But anyway, here is more spoilers, and here is another shadow. This one does some mad shrugs and always skips leg day. Always. And yeah. Here is a drawing that is made with a pencil on a piece of paper, and there's spoilers. So here is Crow if her hair was up, which I think I might actually do in the manga. Not all the time, but just so it has variety to it. Here's some more designs. There's Crow again. There's how her arm explodes. So there's like a background story to that. There's Crow if she had her hair down without a ribbon. And let's see, what the heck does that even say? Crow with short hair, no ponytail. Dude kidnaps, not kills. And I think with this, I just like made a random line on accident. And I decided to turn that into a kidney, so I added a second kidney. So it's just like, kidneys! Which is probably the strangest thing in this drawing update. Here is a little thumbnail sketch I made for a drawing that actually turns into something way cooler later. This is from Hill Surrounded. So there's this dude fights that dude in a hospital, and I'll show you what that is later. Here is Exodus's redesign. Been a while since I've made a redesign for her, so I decided to completely change everything about the way she looks. And her scarf game has multiplied twofold. Now she has 2 scarves. And then there's some shoes. Air Force Jesus sandals. And that wasn't my idea, by the way. I made this drawing and we were actually teaching this kid, and he wanted to look through my drawings, so I told him about him, and he said, wow, that's like the Air Force Jesus sandals of the time. So here's hand practice, and only problem with this is that the hands look a little too masculine, but that's what happens when you use your own hands as reference. But yeah, there's rings, and that's a spoiler, and then there's Crow, and then there's like pretty much a Crow Susanoo. A lot of people have said that Crow is kind of like Itachi because they both have exploding bird clothing. So I was just like, hey, what would happen if she actually had a Crow Susanoo? Which I might actually make in the story. And if you never see the story continued after that, it's probably because I got sued. This is literally a page full of spoilers. Here is more designs from the story. So here's Crow, there's a Shadow, they're on the same team. What? And here is a Scarecrow, which is Crow's natural enemy. Scarecrow, Crow, Scarecrow, Scarecrows. That's what they do. That's why they have names. And then here's a Kumu being Kumu. That's what Kumu does. And here is lines and Copic marker brush strokes on the other end of a page that bled through because I don't know how to organize myself. And here is a drawing of Crow in pen, deciding what to do with the if she keeps her long ponytail or not thing. I guess I can actually ask for your guys' input on that. I know she's going to keep it for a time, but like, does she need a ponytail that goes down to her ankles? That doesn't seem like a very good strategical idea. And speaking of Crow, here's Crow. Again, trying to practice using my own hands as a reference again. But this actually, those rings are significant to the story. If you've been to one of my streams lately, you'll understand it. But if not, then stream spoilers. Not telling you! This drawing was made entirely in pen, except for the whiteout parts that I was just like, wait, I don't want that there, that. So this is one of those drawings where I actually make a hand first. And I was just like, cool, now I just need to find out how to put a person near that hand in a way that would make sense. So started with the hand because I wanted to practice drawing hands, and then I drew Crow around it. So this is actually a drawing of a hand. Crow's just a disguise. So yeah, that happened. Here is a drawing that's very light, so I don't know if you can see that very well. Maybe I can like mess with the contrast on this part or something, but here's just like a hill-surrounded cover thing. Only problem is Neffy didn't have a bowling ball shaped head in this. She actually had a semi bowling ball shaped head, so it wasn't good enough, and that's why I didn't do anything with it. Here is a drawing I made to actually show one of my friends how to draw faces. I showed him the deal with guidelines, so I drew guidelines in this and then inked it and then erased the guidelines, and it just blew his mind. He's just like, what? I thought you just went in with pen and did final lines. And here to tell you from experience, not a good idea. But I do actually like how this drawing turned out, so I guess it is a good idea. Here's Alan being Alan. Yep. Here is the one character named Fluffy that probably nobody knows about anymore, but there he is. Yes, he is Dragon Ball Z-ish. And here is just the concept idea I had of what if Don't Starve was an anime. So it's just like, there's the character Wilson from Don't Starve, and he's turned into that. And I thought it was okay, but I don't like it very much. I would probably redo that, but his hair's weird. There's Foxy. There's a monster. Here is a drawing I tried to do left-handed, which would probably look better if there wasn't Copic bleeding through the back, but I didn't care enough about it to stop. So I was just like, meh. Here's a drawing where it was supposed to be just that much of it. So, trying to put that in the frame. It was supposed to be that much of Crow's eyes because I decided to change them. They're both green now, so that way I stop losing track of which one's supposed to go where. But the detail is that the eye on my left is the happy eye, and the eye on my right is the angry eye. So she actually uses her hair as a way of describing how she feels. She'll show one eye when she's angry, she'll show the other eye when she's not. So there you go. Spoilers. You're welcome. And then I actually tried to make a Copic drawing out of the Copics that Nautica gave me. It was around Christmas time last year. So Nautica, if you're watching, thank you. I am actually using them a lot. I can actually show you guys. While I was on my mission, I actually found a Barnes and Noble. No, that's not right. A Michael's store. And that place is horrible because it declares war on my wallet. But I now officially have a growing Copic collection. So, and most of these are actually from Nautica. I think like maybe 7 of these I got myself. So yeah, thank you Nautica if you're watching. I am putting them into good practice, and I'll show you what I mean later. But I just need to put these back. There we go. And here is a drawing of Crow turning her kimono into crows. It's a very crow-like thing to do. Here's a character I have named Bones. Here's Alan and the shadow. Spoilers. And here is a drawing of Spider-Man holding a cane, literally just because one of my friends told me to. And here is a cool little drawing montage. So this is pretty much Exodus in her redesign, going to fight a shadow. So what she does is she actually flips around, smacks it with the wings, and then like pummels it into the ground, and then it's just like bleh. So yep, storyboards. If only all of my drawings actually looked that cool. But you know the rule of thumb, it's only epic if it's the size of your thumb. I don't think that's the rule. And here's what I meant by putting Copics into practice. This is another character I have. His name is Zarin Hartham, and he's from another story I have. And this is a drawing I tried to make in exclusively Copic. So you'll see that I have pencil and I erased away at it because I didn't have Copic multi-liners at the time. So I actually went over the line art with just a pen. But I was trying to make everything I have with a Copic. I tried to make everything in this drawing with just the Copics that I had available to me. And it was actually a lot of fun because I don't have a lot of colors that blend together. So it's always a creative challenge to see what the heck I'm going to do with my life and what I'm doing. Here is evidence that I erase. Here is a drawing of Exodus. Again, it's a redesign. This is the one from here. So this is the chibi version of her, as you can see. And here is Crow, doing crow-like things like making crows. Here is Alan and that shadow because it's important. Here is Presto with 2 hand saws. And for those of you who actually don't know, I released a video a couple of days ago for announcing a stream. And by the way, if anybody ever watches any of my streams and I make videos to announce them, I would encourage you to watch them. They're very weird. But here is Presto with 2 hand saws in regards to one of her powers. She's a magician. She can cut herself in half and be perfectly okay. Here is a drawing I also made during a stream, and I really like how it turned out because it's completely off the wall. Again, not taking my own advice and not going in with straight pen. But I guess this is a ballpoint pen challenge shaded with Copics. I guess it's not anymore. No! But here is a drawing of Crow, proving that she can do aerobics and also turn her kimono into Crow-mono. No? Okay. And yep, I actually do like how this drawing turned out. I went in with a ruler to make like all of these motion lines, and it was really cool because I actually shaded there, so it makes it look like it's highlighted, but I'm actually not that good. It's just shaded as well. So yeah, I really like how this drawing turned out. And here's results of the stream for something called the red button. Anybody who watched the stream will probably get this. So yeah, that's a face for the red button. Here's some little thumbnails I made. This is on the back. Faces, group, outline stuff. and you'll get why in a moment. But yep, that's it as far as this sketchbook. Here's not necessarily something I drew 6 months ago, but I don't think I've gotten around to it. I don't think a lot of people even know about it. But while I was home the first time, instead of just staring at a wall and crying all the time, I did, it's just not all the time, I did other stuff, like staring at the floor and crying and staring at the roof and crying, but I actually made another manga. It's one that's a lot shorter for Hill Surrounded, but I kind of made like a little one-shot that you guys can go and check out. And for this one, I actually used deleter paper. So yeah, I found out how the heck to do that. And I also found out how to stitch together pages and do all the shading and stuff online. And if anybody's actually curious about what goes into making a manga, I actually have a video about that. I made it right before I left, and it's the most in-depth, thorough explanation that I think I've ever made about my creative process for making manga. But yeah, here's some more pages. I'll probably link that at the end of the video for anybody who's interested. Now I just need to make a video about making paint in the backgrounds. That's not printed, folks. That's drawn. And so are all of those people, just because. So yeah, that's that. And I have a couple of these. So it's just like, what? Funny thing about this is these are all Easter eggs. These are all actually people I know, because the Easter eggs skills is strong with Skittles. Here. Yep, got a lot of these. This is the antagonist. Well, not really. She's kind of like Neffy's rival. But, yeah, you see, like, her not bowling ball-shaped head in this, and then she's just like, whoa, Neffy, you don't have a bowling ball-shaped head today. And then he's just like, yeah, she's right, you don't. And, yeah, so I actually don't have a name for this character, so if anybody wants to get creative in the comments, would you like to help me come up with a name for jerk face McRival pants? Yep. More drawings. This is made of real drawings. And then this I actually made in blue because I knew that I was going to draw clouds later, all in screen tone, so that's fun. Here is totally a reference to Central Park. For any of you who don't know, because I didn't say, I just said I was going back on a mission, but I went to New York, and because I was in my mission in New York and I wanted to have a couple of Easter eggs from it, even with Neffy's design, I actually had that beanie. That's a real beanie. And yeah, this is actually based off of Central Park, so cool story. Even if you don't care. Then here's a drawing that I actually made in color. So I made the line art here, and then I colored it with my tablet. Then, yep, there's the last page. I actually really like how this turned out. It's like a combination of using pen and markers. There's something about the just like black and white look of manga that's just like, ah, it looks so nice! And here, oh, actually, before I get to these, I'll go into these. So here is a fan art drawing that I'm making for Sue. Don't tell Sue. Here is a drawing of me in the Five Nights at Freddy's office. So that's a lot of fun. And then you can see the Easter eggs. There's Crow on the wall. There's little plushies. So there's the Crow plushie, the Alan plushie, the Akumu plushie. I think that was about it. But it's like slender pages. And then he's actually a lamp. That'd be the most terrifying lamp in the world. I wouldn't buy it. There's Golden Freddy right there. Exodus is low-key down there. I actually have this chair, and yep, that's what it would look like if I had the Five Nights at Freddy's office. Slenderman's on the screen. Here is a drawing that I made in perspective, just literally to make something that's a pain in the butt to make. I'm probably never going to finish it, or never going to ink it, but there's one thing I guarantee. I'll see this in a fire one day. And here is a Hill Surrounded sample cover, and you can tell it's a sample because it's in pen. Do you guys ever get those drawings where you make in pen and then you're just like, oh crap, I actually really like how that turned out? Well, dang it, now I need to either redo the entire thing or just be lazy and color it like that, because that can't be just me. But yeah, there's this drawing that I made for Hill Surrounded. Here's for Lemmy, and yep, I'll probably need to send this to her one day. Here's a drawing I made of Mad Father. It's a fan art from that game. It's actually a really cool game. I'm pretty sure most people here have actually heard about it, but yep, really cool game. I like it. And there's also like a secret about this red dress, but here's another fan art I made for Life is Strange, and I think I actually have a video on this one too. So yeah, you can actually look into that. What I did with this one is I actually made like a watercolor based background, and then I went all into it with Prismacolor and Copic for the rock because I'm just like, no! And yeah, this is actually based off of one of the scenes of Life is Strange. I really like how this drawing came out, especially because I'm not good at semi-realism. But I tried it. It's nice because I could do something to get out of my comfort zone. Okay, now we can get back into the other drawings. So this is like the nice art folder, which isn't really any nicer than that, except some of these just don't fit in here. But yep, here is a drawing of Crow doing crow-like things, like making crows again. And what I actually like about this drawing more is the background, because fun fact, it's actually really hard for me to draw foliage and those kinds of backgrounds. I actually think it's easier to draw perspective than it is just trees and stuff, because at least perspective has an order. It takes a long time to do, but once you get the hang of it, it's just wash, rinse, and repeat. But nature is very tricky, so this is very hard for me to do. And then I went back to what I know, if anyone remembers that little thumbnail I was showing about a hospital. Insert flashback here. Here is a little thumbnail sketch I made for a drawing that actually turns into something way cooler later. And with this, it's actually this character fighting this monster, and there's like a little painting on the wall there. Kudos to anybody that knows that that's an Easter egg of a temple. Then, so this is kind of like an epic face-off moment where he's just like, yo man, I know it was you that took the last of the gummy bears from the machine. And the monster's just like, yeah, so what? You know that Haribo gummy bears are the best. And he's gonna be like, I know, that's why I wanted to buy them! For this last drawing, it's actually one of my more, actually, no, this is the worst attempt at realism ever. Not because of the way the drawing turned out, but I can't even draw one person in realism. So let's draw 8 people in realism. So, fun fact, these are actually all people from my mission. This was in my last week on a mission. And there's something going on called Light the World, which is where you serve people in 25 different ways over 25 different days. I guess I can leave a description to that as well for anybody who's interested in that. But it's pretty much to make the Christmas season a little more special. I mean, if anyone wants to break out of the routine of giving gifts, get some maybe, I would definitely recommend that you guys go and check this out. It's really cool. We did it last year as well, and it made the entire Christmas season awesome and special because you're helping other people. And with this drawing, it's actually the first day of Light the World. It's pretty much serving people. So I decided to draw my entire district. For anybody that knows about missions, you usually serve in a district, which is in a general location. There's a lot of people. But I drew everyone in it. That one's me. And here's everyone else. But yeah, I really like how this drawing turned out. I actually learned a lot about realism. I learned how to do guidelines for realism, which is good. But yep, that's what I've been up to for the last 6 months. And just let me know what you guys thought of the video. I had a couple of questions that I'll remember to probably put at the end screen. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. What have you been up to for the last 6 months? And don't worry, I'm not leaving again. I actually finished my mission. Bye!